What happens when law, business, and life collide? Each week on Lead Counsel, your host Tom Tona will take a deep dive into topics related to the law, the business of law, and life. There will be insightful discussions with industry insiders, experts, and thought leaders making significant contributions and meaningful differences in their fields of expertise. Tom is the founder and managing attorney at Tonalaw. He has been a practicing attorney since 1994 and the leader of Tonalaw since it opened in 2001. The goal of this podcast is to provide you with free information on law and the business of law, and to give you actionable tools related to each of these areas. Now, here's Tom.
Hey, welcome back to the Lead Counsel Podcast. Your host, Tom Tona. Before we jump into today's topic, I just want to take a minute to thank the sponsors of the podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Tonalaw. If you're an attorney and you're looking for a trusted partner in New York personal injury referrals, Tonalaw has been doing this since 2001. We're the go-to New York personal injury law firm for attorneys and law firms across the U.S. At Tonalaw, we pay legal fee participation, referring attorneys in all jurisdictions where it's permitted. Refer us a case today and experience the Tonalaw difference. Call us now to discuss how we can work together at 844-TONALAW or visit us at tonalaw.com. If you're calling because you heard us on the podcast, just mention Lead Counsel when you make the referral, and they will get you on the phone with me. I have a special guest, Emerson Souza, who is my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor. His organization and himself have been dedicated to teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to adults and kids and school programs. He's just committed to changing people's lives with nothing but positivity. Emerson is one of my dear, dear friends. I love the guy so much. I can't tell you the amount of contribution he's made to my life, so I think that this podcast is going to be a game changer for a lot of people. Emerson, I called you a superhero before, right? You have this skill, and I guess anybody that trains jiu-jitsu and sticks with it and has a higher level skill set that almost make you like a superhero, right? You can do things with your body, your physical prowess, that normal people can't do without training for as long as you've trained, right? And I've rolled with you, and it's like rolling with steam. You're there 1 minute, you're gone the next. I never know where you are. And then next thing I know, I'm tapping out. It's been this mind-altering trip starting jiu-jitsu because, as you said all the time, and I quote you often, is the mats don't lie.
Yes.
Which is what's beautiful about jiu-jitsu and maddening at the same time, because you really break your ego when you step on the mats.
Yes.
So that's interesting as far as what got you started. And you took a really interesting route too. There are some people that train, never compete, then they open up a school. You are a world champion. So what made you get started down the competition route?
I got to competition because way back before jiu-jitsu, I already compete in soccer. So I play soccer and I want to be a soccer player. All the kids in Brazil want to be a soccer player. So I already compete in soccer. And then when I got to jiu-jitsu, my first instructor introduced me to I sign you up, you're going to fight in a tournament.
He didn't ask, right?
No. I was my eyes open, and then it's funny story because they have the bracket, and then we know a week before, and all my friends in the school, this kid, you're going to fight this kid, do this, do that. I was like, what I'm getting into? I don't know nothing about fighting, it's going to be my first tournament. And we kids, and then I went there to compete. I have that mindset, a competition is competition, I used to do that for soccer. So I say, I'm going to go full force. I'm going to go. And then I love it because have a very interesting story happen this fight with me. And I feel like a superstar after. I say, now I love that feeling. I'm keep going.
You won.
I won the tournament.
So for you, what are some of the biggest takeaways and lessons that you think jiu-jitsu instills in people or instilled in you?
If you really value what you get from jiu-jitsu, I think it's the honesty, jiu-jitsu give you there. I think that's everything.
Honesty with yourself.
Honesty with yourself, like I say, my story, I was 11 years old. So when you there, I think people see you through you, I know sometimes we say something, the other person don't like it, but it's you're not honest with that person. I think that's what the best lesson jiu-jitsu gave to me, everybody's close to me knows I'm clear, you can't go and look at me and look through me, knows what I say If I have to say anything to close friend to me, I'm going to say, because I know later on it's going to turn to good thing for them. And I did that my whole life. You know, some people I know. And I told the guy, look, you do wrong, you do that. Don't, he's going to get, no, dude, I'm a true friend. I'm honest with them. I'm not just they teach or when I used to be student too. Now I'm honest, like, hey, I want to learn this. I want to, so you honest bring the other stuff. Bring you humble person, bring you good listen because you're honest with you. And that's, I think, Jiu-Jitsu giving me that.
It's so funny as you're talking, right? So I'm thinking about how it relates to my business and who I am. So we have these core values in my business. And you mentioned humility. Well, humility is part of like growth mindset. Growth mindset for us is one of our core values, right? If you have a growth mind versus a fixed mindset, you are humble and you're on a constant quest for answers, for truth, and you're questioning. Right? You're not, I know everything and I'm the best. And that's what's great about jiu-jitsu in general, because the first thing it does is it breaks you. It breaks your ego.
Yes.
You have no choice but to walk in humble or you will get humbled. And even if you walk in humbled, you're going to get humbler because there are these things called mat enforcers, right? And mat enforcers are at every school and it's typically a very talented student. And they're there to stop people from being bullied and getting the crap kicked out of them by somebody who might come in off the street or whatever. And I always love that concept because ego plays such a big part of life, but it's all fake, right?
Yes.
Like really it's fake. So that's the other thing is that jiu-jitsu humbled me at a time I needed to be humbled. And it makes you better. It rounds out your rough edges because you realize ego comes from a place of fear, I think. You had written me when we were talking about you coming on the podcast, you said, what inspired me to join jiu-jitsu?
Yes.
And I was reflecting on that for a while today. And if I'm being very truthful, like raw, it was fear. I always loved the martial arts. I trained karate, I trained Aikido, but I was bullied as a kid and I got my ass kicked by a wrestler who held me down the way you held me down that first class. And I was helpless. So around 40, I was like, my mindset was, I want to do what I'm scared to do. Then I found your school and you were like, executive class, that's bullshit. You come into regular class, right? And, I was in shape. I was what I thought was good shape, not jiu-jitsu shape, but I was in a weightlifting shape, but I was scared. And that was the first hurdle, was doing something I was scared to do. I was scared because I was bullied my whole life. And I realized I had this deep-seated fear. Even with all the martial arts training, it didn't go away till jiu-jitsu, right? Till I realized, even at 150 pounds, a 200-pound guy, even to this day, will have trouble holding me down if he's untrained.
Yes.
That's what made me join, was I wanted to do something I was terrified of doing. I walked into this school, and the first person I see walking off the mat is Ivan and Jared at the time.
Right.
And one of them had blood coming out of their eye. And they were all giving us this mean, muggy look. And I'm like, what the hell? Same feeling you had. Yeah. What did I just get myself into? And what was awesome was I did it anyway. So think about how much that changed me in that one moment. But again, you made it inviting. And look, I'm never going to, listen, we talked about this. I'm a black belt, but I ain't a black belt like you. I'm never going to be a world champion black belt. I'm just not. But I love jiu-jitsu. I love the gifts that it gave me. And if I'm being honest, I sucked for most of the time I trained, right? I still probably suck compared to most of the guys that are on, but I got better every day. Yeah. It sucked a little bit less every day. And you made it inviting where jiu-jitsu was for everybody. So like if Juliet, who's 23, walks in, you're going to make sure she feels comfortable and you're going to teach her at her level. That was another lesson I took away. In my law firm, I talk to people in a way that works for them. We use testing to determine how they like to be managed, and we manage on an individual tailored basis. We have 35 people working for us now. So certain people respond different ways. And I learned that from you.
This podcast is sponsored by Tonalaw. Attorneys, are you looking for a trusted partner for your New York personal injury referrals? Since 2001, Tonalaw has been the go-to New York personal injury law firm for attorneys and law firms across the U.S. At Tonalaw, we pay legal fee participation to referring attorneys in all jurisdictions where it's permitted. Refer us a case today and experience the Tonalaw difference. Call us now to discuss how we can work together at 844-TONALAW or visit us at tonalaw.com.
I looked at what made you such an amazing instructor, right? And just an amazing human being. But when you're with somebody, you make them feel like they're the only person in the room, right? Like you are 100% focused.
Yes.
You got this laser-like focus on somebody. You look in them in the eye, you're listening, but you have this innate ability to read people from jiu-jitsu, I think, where, you always used to say, it's not what your opponent's going to do. Feel what they're doing and then respond or move ahead of that move. You have this, he kind of knows what you're going to do before you do it. And he's anticipated every permutation of that move. That's what makes you a world champion. But you're also a world champion of people. You're a reader of people. I learned that skill from you. I learned how to read people. I started studying it and giving individualized, tailored management based on that. So that's kind of how it's evolved, using a tool that I took from my other training, which was the leadership training, and marrying it up with the stuff I observed you doing, the way you would do private lessons. Another lesson I learned from you, which is do what you love and the money will come. On its face, your decision to become a jiu-jitsu instructor for your parents was not a smart decision.
No.
But you were passionate about it. You said before, you used the word passionate about it, right? So I would urge anybody listening to this, like that's advice I give to my daughter, which is don't do anything for the money. The money's all fake. It's make-believe. It's paper. Do what you love to do, right?
Yes.
Like you have the life you want. And I don't know how much you want to go into it on here, but you have the life you want by design. You've designed your life. You did written plans. I remember you telling me I wrote down plans for my business and my life.
Yes.
Right? And so you built a life by design, by purpose. I've been practicing law for 28 years, right? And people will look at you, or people will look at me, and we joke about this all the time. And they'll be like, well, I want that. And I'm like, I always say, you might be hungry, but are you sleep on the mats hungry? Are you 7 days a week? Like when I first started, I was 7 days a week. I put in 80 hours a week. Don't look at me now, take a vacation. If I go away for a month, I don't call my office. My office runs. But don't look at my office now. Look at the 15 years of management and leadership training I put in to build the systems, make sure I hire the best people for my team. People always look at the end result.
Yes.
You slept on the mats for a year. Do you know that level of sacrifice? Like, people have to understand that before they look at your school or the real estate or the building. All of the stuff you built, it didn't come overnight.
Yeah. For the person go through to the process, I think they don't have to. They don't have to think to the end. They have to think the whole process.
The whole process. It's not about the end, right? It's not about the end. It's about the journey. You wouldn't be who you are if you didn't sleep on the mats.
No.
I mean, but it also gives you a certain prioritization too, right? Where I like that story. Actually, I can relate it to my life. I was very young and successful at a very early point in my law practice because I built it up very rapidly and I thought I was untouchable. And then I lost everything, but I still had jiu-jitsu. I still had my family. And I was like, you know what?
You don't lose nothing.
I didn't lose anything really. What I lose? A bunch of green paper that I can make back.
Yes.
But I related to that story so much because are you willing to sacrifice? Yeah. Right? Like that's what that's about. And not everybody has to do it the way we did it or the way you did it.
That, like I say, my journey is different than yours, different than her, different than anybody in the world. But do we have to understand your journey? Her, she young girl, so she might want to go out one day, but she have to stay inside, stay home.
And she does. She actually sacrifices a lot.
To what she want her life. Right. It's a different sacrifice, Or I just give an example. Can be anything. She maybe want to take a vacation, but not now. It's not for me now. Right. She understand her whole process. I understand my whole process. Do you want to sleep on the mat? No, but it's my process. And I'm fine.
But everybody's got their version of that, right? Like
exactly. Yeah.
Nothing. What jiu-jitsu taught me, another lesson, was nothing you see comes easy. If you're seeing it as that's an end result.
No.
Right. Nothing comes easy. For instance, I did a mastermind, a legal mastermind where a group of law firm leaders get together. And there was a really nice guy there. And he was 3 years into his practice. And he's like, I want to scale to where you are and to where this other guy who was talking is. And I was like, can I speak honestly? He said, yeah. I said, don't talk about scaling till you've actually built the foundation. You're 3 years in. And it's something you always talk about, right? The basics.
Yes.
And I tell you hear me talk about it all the time. Like, you could do the fancy stuff, but if you don't know the basics, you're building your house on quicksand.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So again, these are all things that come out of jiu-jitsu and knowing you,
and
right?
You take for life.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And knowing you, meeting you, training with you as a student of yours has been one of the biggest needle movers for me in terms of my professional and personal growth, because stripping away the ego, and I had a lot of ego as a young man, just made me a better person. It made me a better quality of life. So thank you for that.
And then come to what's more important, I think, Jiu-Jitsu gave me there. You touch on people certain ways, like, doesn't matter if be the best world champion Jiu-Jitsu, all that. It's coming to like, if that person don't realize I did it, but I know I did, I touch on them a little bit, make it a little bit better. I think that's my journey on when it's coming to martial art, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now, you know. Be a athletic and champion, it's a personal, like, I think more personal. And the Jiu-Jitsu now, think for just be a person like that. Yeah, you can go and fight and check yourself technique, but at the end of the day, what that gave it to you, you know, that's what sometimes I'd be a little bit sad, like when somebody started training jiu-jitsu and he's a blue belt, but he's so eager and then he's quick because he lose on the mat and lose the training. You don't lose anything. Actually, you win every time you go there. That's, like you say, you're gonna be a better person. But that's not something you can touch. And people don't understand that sometimes. And that's when I'm sad about the person stop training. I want to have that person a little bit more because I'm going to touch to that person better. That person is going to be a better person, you know?
For sure.
I got so many people like came to the mat, came to the school. Oh, I want to sign up. I'm tough. I'm this and that. You're not. None of that you say you are. And I see ones coming quiet. Don't talk. They're lying.
Right.
People's lying. Like, you say, wow. That's the stuff like I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu give it to people, you know? That's what sometimes I get sad when people stop because say, I don't have enough time to like make that person better, you know?
Right.
That's it.
You invest a significant amount of time. And it's funny because I know that sadness you're talking about because I do the same thing with my team. Right? Like, I want to bring out the best in people. Like, I feel like that's what my job is as the owner of this law firm, is to bring out the best in people, whatever that is, right? Not to tell them what it is, but to find out what it is.
Yeah.
So like you brought up a good example. The tough guy coming in, well, he probably needs to be humbled.
Yes.
Jiu-Jitsu does that.
Yes.
The quiet, meek guy coming in, he needs confidence.
Yes.
Or she needs confidence. You give them that through Jiu-Jitsu. Where I get sad, I share that sadness. And it's funny because only people that coach know what that means. Where you see somebody says, I want X, you know what they need.
Yes.
And you say, I can help you bring that out through coaching or training or competition, whatever it is.
Yes.
And they give up before because of the ego.
Yeah.
Right. Whether they're the timid guy who's just so fearful they can't overcome it.
Yeah.
They don't realize that they have the lion in them.
Yeah.
Or it's the tough guy who needs to be humbled and he can't swallow the fact that he's going to be humbled by a 135-pound guy. And so you get sad because you're like, oh, they could have gotten there if they just stuck with it. I asked you like your most important concept that you would leave people with, and it was never quit.
Never quit.
If you had one piece of advice to anybody in the business world, in life, in jiu-jitsu, what would that be?
I'm always stuck with that. Focus.
Focus. Focus on what you want. Focus on the goal.
Don't let nothing distract you.
Focus on the process.
It's going to happen. If you focus on that, I think don't let nothing to distract you. you're going to get there, you know.
Yeah.
I think for everything, you know. Still today, you know, we talk and I'm still having my focus what I am right now, and I want to keep it going like that. So you got to keep focus everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Deep focus, man. Deep focus.
And,
you know.
it's a hard thing to do, you know.
But yeah, life is full of distractions, man.
Right, so you got to be, yeah. That's, I think, my advice.
Awesome. That's great. I just want to say thank you to you, the superhero of my life, Emerson. Thank you for listening to this episode of Lead Counsel Podcast. Your host, Tom Tona. Go anywhere podcasts are distributed. Follow us. Leave us a 10-star review. Share some episodes with your friends. And thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Thank you.
This podcast is sponsored by Tonalaw. Attorneys, are you looking for a trusted partner for your New York personal injury referrals? Since 2001, Tonalaw has been the go-to New York personal injury law firm for attorneys and law firms across the U.S. At Tonalaw, we pay legal fee participation to referring attorneys in all jurisdictions where it's permitted. Refer us a case today and experience the Tonalaw difference. Call us now to discuss how we can work together at 844-TONALAW or visit us at tonalaw.com.